So yesterday I watched both part 1 and 2 of the Pangburn debates / conversations between Jordan Peterson and Sam Harris. Spent about 4 hours listening to them. And I really liked them. I couldn't stop listening to them. I was really engaged the whole time. I thought Brett Weinstein did an excellent job as a moderator, even though Sam and Jordan kind of didn't listen to him at a couple points. I think maybe, yeah, he did excellent. It made me honestly like Jordan Peterson, and more. I already really like him, but it made me just admire him even more. He seemed, to me at least, to be fully there searching for the truth. He didn't seem to be a combatant on one side of a intellectual battle. He didn't. He really seemed like he was there trying to listen and understand Sam's position better and trying to get his position across. Especially, this was very evident in the second day when Jordan Peterson and Sam Harris were asked to Iron Man, or to give the best version of the opposite side. So Jordan Peterson was asked to present Sam Harris's arguments as he understands them, and Sam Harris's criticisms of himself in the strongest possible way. And Sam Harris was also asked to do that. And I thought Jordan Peterson did an absolute great job of representing, making Sam Harris's arguments as strong as they possibly could be. I was very impressed by that. But one thing I want to mention is that once again, so we have Sam Harris and Jordan Peterson, and they each have a worldview, right? They each have a vision that they see as a way to improve our society, a direction to move society towards. And to me, Jordan Peterson's vision is very clear of what he's trying to do. Trying to improve the moral character of individuals through individual mass-scale psychological interventions. 12 Rules for Life is 12 steps to improve your moral character and improve your ability to function in the world and to do good and to help your life and the lives of those around you. And it's very clear, the world that I see Jordan Peterson working towards. Full freedom of speech to allow people of different ideas, maybe who disagree with him or disagree with anyone, to come together to find the best path forward. I see that. I have seen criticisms of him, which I agree with, where he doesn't focus enough on large scale things that need to be addressed. In my personal belief, people talk about global warming, or this just doesn't really, they seem to me, man, bear, pig, as South Park creators called global warming. It doesn't seem the most pressing issue. There's lots of debate on this. To me, the pollution of the groundwater, the pollution of the food supply, giant ocean, continents of garbage floating in the ocean. There are lots of other environmental issues which I think are more important, and when it comes to the patriarchy or Donald Trump or something, the parasitic banks that are extracting value from, the banking cartel that's running the developed world and extracting value and destroying economies, more important to me. So that's my criticism of Jordan Peterson. He doesn't pay enough attention to that. Sam Harris, I don't know what he's talking about. I don't know I can't even see what his vision is for the future. It seems to me like Sam Harris, step 1, undermine religious belief. Create a nation where people don't believe in Christianity or Hinduism or any religion. And then step 2, I don't know. So every time someone mentions to him the problems with the idea of moving towards flourishing, for example, suffering in order to grow and be a better person, flourishing now versus flourishing in the future, a psychopath whose idea of flourishing is, just taking and hurting other people. Politics is large groups of people who disagree about flourishing. One group thinks this is the way to go, one group thinks that is the way to go. Does he think that we're going to solve the problem of opposing political groups who will fight tooth and nail for their own version of flourishing because we get rid of religion? Is religion the cause of that? How are you going to deal with that? Then Jordan Peterson brings up the fact that we have horrible measures of whether someone is horrible measures of well-being. We can't determine well-being very well at all, psychological metrics of well-being. All of these, Sam Harris just sort of poo-poos away. It'll be done. Does this require some new technological innovation? When Sam Harris said in the debate, we all have our own personal feeling when we're flourishing, or right now, just you're talking, I don't like that. That's a metric of flourishing. Really? Because that seems like things that people bicker about all the time, right? I feel harassed. I feel threatened. Therefore, you're a perpetrator. Or I don't see what step 2 is. Step 1, undermine religious belief and religious value systems for the majority of the population. Let's talk about the United States. In the United States. Step 2, Sam, what I want to see is in specifics. Every time I see Jordan Peterson talk with prominent atheists, it's always him defending his position, his worldview. It's always dodging. Every time anyone brings up to Sam, well, what exactly is your value system, and how are you going to determine whether we're flourishing or not? It's always just deflect, go to something else. Attack again, Jordan Peterson's position. I want to see a full 2-hour debate of nothing but Sam Harris talking about how he's going to bring in this glorious new future where everyone's flourishing. In Sam Harris's TED Talk, he talked about how he gave an example about he knows nothing about string theory. His opinion on string theory doesn't matter. He's the Ted Bundy of string theory, comparing Ted Bundy, the serial killer, to before this he compared Ted Bundy to the Dalai Lama, and saying that Ted Bundy's opinion on morality doesn't count, just like my opinion on string theory doesn't count. And he said, in the moral sphere, not all opinions count. And then he talked about how the Taliban has no valid opinion on physics. They likewise have no valid opinion on human well-being. Sam, I don't see a way forward there, buddy, because that doesn't make any sense. That's a very ridiculous argument. The Taliban is a social movement in a society. It's a religious and social movement. They are members of the society. Anyone in a society, as a member of a society, has a voice in how that society should work and in how that society should be run. They believe that what they're doing is leading to the flourishing of their society. Okay? You can't take a specific scientific domain of knowledge and say that if you are not a part of this, you have no opinion in this, to a member of a social group and saying your opinion doesn't matter. That's the exact same thing as saying me as a white male has no opinion in whether or not Black Lives Matter is a good or bad thing, right? I'm the Ted Bundy of Black Lives Matter or whatever. There's not a way forward. There's no argument there. How are you going to do it? So what if we say this? I heard Sam Harris be incredibly derogatory towards Trump supporters and Trump voters. What about this? Let's change it. Trump supporters don't have an opinion on string theory, and they likewise have no opinion on human well-being. Okay, there we are. So, Trump supporters have no opinion, no right to an opinion on human well-being. Their own well-being, for example. You have a very dim view of Trump supporters. I imagine you have a dimmer view of the Taliban. But where's the line? You have to show me exactly where the line is. You know, in his TED Talk, Sam Harris also talked about, he showed pictures of a bunch of women in burqas, and then a bunch of women on the covers of fashion magazines, and said, you know, these are two drastic opposites, two dramatic opposites, two, you know, women totally covered up and women basically naked on the front of magazines. We have to be able to agree on something in the middle of that. How? How? The women in the bikinis, other than trying to improve the moral character of the population in general, who's going to decide what women can and cannot wear? The decision that women must wear a burqa is just as domineering and controlling as an opinion that women shouldn't wear bikinis. Now, you can say that it's a moral failing and you can try to improve the moral character of people one at a time so that you think that they value women for not only their bodies, but how? I know how Jordan Peterson's trying to do it. It's clear to me how he's trying to do it, Sam. How are you trying to do it? I want to see him defend some sort of a system. What does that look like? How do we get there? And how is it not a utopian dream that's going to require totalitarian control to enforce? Does my opinion count in the moral sphere? Does it or doesn't it? Who decides? And it's always Jordan Peterson defending his positions, which I think he did a really good job of. But I want to see a debate that's the opposite. Specifics, Sam. We need specifics, not just huge polar opposites of this is good, this is bad. We can all agree that this is good and this is bad. What about everything in between? How? What is your vision for the future? The whole time I just kept thinking that. And there were a couple times where Jordan tried to ask him that. And immediately, he never answered the question. It's always vague, and we'll work out the yes. That's a valid point, but we'll work out that in the future. We need specifics. Anyway, that's enough for this video. Thank you for watching, and please leave comments in the comments box below. Thank you.